morning, everyone. So today we wanted to give you a quick introductory session about some of the differences between the main public cloud vendors. So we've already been introduced. I'm Adelina Simion, and I work at Form3, and I'm joined on stage by...
I'm Artur Kondas. I'm Senior Software Engineer at Form3, and we do payments quick and fast, and let's roll with this.
Yeah, so we have a multi-cloud solution, and we want to share a little bit about what we've learned. So, Artur, what does a wealthy cloud do?
It makes rain.
Make it rain. Yeah, okay.
There will be a lot of really bad dry jokes, so, you know, it's 9:25, so sorry, not sorry, I guess, reckon? Yeah.
So who are the public cloud vendors? As you can see, there are some major vendors, but today we will focus on the big three: AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So how will we go about comparing them? We're going to look at their key offerings, then we're going to discuss a little bit about the majority of these chosen offerings, and we'll look at some popular choices. We're not going to compare what offering is better than another, but we will highlight what of popular choices for solving a particular problem. Then we will look a little bit at the pricing overview. Now, it was very important to us to showcase the information that was available on their public docs instead of reaching out to, you know, any kind of representatives that we have inside the company. So we read the docs, so you don't have to. So a region is a specific geographical location that can host your resources, and an availability zone so regions are divided into availability zones for fault tolerance and availability. And you can see here the numbers that each cloud provides. Now, these numbers are correct at the time that we're presenting. They might change in the future. Then we also have edge locations, which are also known as points of presence, where you can further connect to specific services. And not all services are available in all regions. When it comes to geographical, where they are actually placed in the globe, most of the regions across all the providers are in North America and Europe. AWS launched in 2006, launched their public cloud offering in 2006, followed by Azure in 2010, and Google Cloud in 2011. And you can see here some of their customers and the number of services they provide. By far, the AWS has the most numerous service offering. And one thing to note is that Azure is in use by 95% of Fortune 500 companies. So it has an established track record of being used by enterprise users. So today we will discuss the services and offerings after we've given you this overview. So I will now hand over to Artur, who will tell you about compute offerings.
So when it comes to compute offerings, they're basically, to quote James Franco, same, but different, but still the same. Told you there will be many bad jokes here. So we both have virtual machines, managed Kubernetes cluster, we have serverless functions, we do have databases, both relational and non-relational databases, which is super nice and super fun. Then, if you see the crowd, it's not our peak, the best thing ever, it's just the most popular. When it comes to managed Kubernetes in the clouds, well, EKS wins by far, it's most used, because we think it's because of most manual config and ability to have most of manual upgrades. The issue that you might have is it doesn't have VS Code development service, but if you've been yesterday on our talk, Vim is the true king. When it comes to serverless in the clouds, again, no surprises, Lambda is the most used across all the cloud providers. Well, it's the oldest one, and it has the least cold start time. It has a rather good timeout, and it has a really good HTTP integration, and you can basically deploy anything you want.
So we provide these tables just for your reference later. We will make the slides available for you. But when it comes to specialized offerings, you see that each of the clouds do cover DevOps, AI, ML, game development, and business analytics. When it comes to data science in the clouds, we know that Jupyter notebooks are basically now the standard when it comes to workbenches. So for those that might not be familiar with data science, workbenches are similar to IDEs for any kind of like backend developer or any kind of developer. Today we will talk a little bit more about machine learning platforms. So all of the clouds give you an easy to start point and click solution to starting out your with fully managed ML models. And they offer pre-trained models and integration with TensorFlow, Keras, etc. However, we have placed the crown on top of Google Cloud because it is the most popular solution now. And we think it is because of BigQuery, which is still the most popular data warehouse solution. BigQuery is easy to configure, and it also provides the most amount of columns with 10,000, followed by Redshift, which provides 1,600 columns. So Artur will now tell you about networking offerings.
So what the network is, everybody sees. So many bad jokes. Well, we have virtual networking, we have load balancing, we have an ability to set up DNS, and we have all the CDNs. As you can see, we don't have a real crown because it's impossible to get those numbers, like really impossible. Per each, you can do basically whatever. Again, same, but different. When it comes to the hybrid clouds in the clouds, Azure wins by far, but this is what we think due to enterprise. Also, we're not being paid by any of those companies to do that comparison. This is only for you, and this is only what we found. So I think that's really important to say. I don't know, like,
It's really easy to deploy on-prem with Azure
The horse is
stack.
how it looks. Well, yeah. Sorry, I just needed to do a little bit like weird bad jokes. Yeah.
So one thing to note is that when it comes to hybrid, they have very different approaches. So Google Cloud does on-prem Kubernetes. AWS has these outposts which give you stacks, which give you racks where they can actually deploy regardless of where you are. And then on-prem with Azure is done with Azure Stack, so you're able to deploy exactly like in your on-prem cloud offering.
With the money bits, I think you've read most of the horror stories that we have had throughout the pandemic with the startup creating a new thing in the cloud. They've building it, and they then have been built for the houses because they couldn't keep up with the spending. So when it comes to the money bits, well, you can save with upfront committees and optimizing instant types. So you should be thinking about it. You can do all the compute resources really pricey, or you can do them less pricey. When it comes to charges, AWS and Azure charges you per minute of the usage. GCP charges you per second of the usage. Is it better? Is it worse? Depends on your use case, basically. So
this brings us to the end of our lightning talk. We appreciate that there was a lot to cover, but since we only have a limited amount of time, we wanted to just highlight the main solutions and what you can use from each cloud offering. So in general, you should evaluate your use case and then choose a cloud provider to onboard according to both the region that you need something to go really fast, or if you want to do something very specific. Multi-cloud is a growing trend, so we do see these offerings constantly upgrading. And to summarize, we see that AWS is most popular for K8s and serverless, for managed Kubernetes and serverless. GCP is most popular for ML modeling or data science. And also, I should mention that Azure has been investing a lot in their AI offering, and a lot of experts are saying that they will win as AI becomes more pervasive in software.
One thing to close our talk with is, if you're a growing startup or a scale-up, these are only the numbers you can find on the websites. And there is the magical Contact Us button, which probably will allow you to do some more specific changes to your use case. So if you have the money to make it rain, make it rain.
So with that, we thank you for listening. You can come to our booth over in outside there, and we can talk a little. I don't know what the number is.
To the right. You go out and then to the right.
Please check out our podcast and our blog, and you can also reach out to us on Twitter. Thank you very much.